I was 14 when I got my first phone, and it was this little rinky-dink flip phone that my parents got me because they said it was gonna last forever. Well, spoiler alert, it lasted me about 2 weeks when I was walking by the pool with my phone in my pocket, and my best friend ran and pushed me in, and needless to say, the phone didn't work after that. I mean, electricity and water never mix, or do they? In fact, I was really surprised to learn through my electrical engineering classes and my personal study that water is almost the one thing holding up our entire energy supply and power grid system through acting as an energy storage device. Energy storage devices are really important in our power grid because they act like a buffer between where energy is produced, like in power plants or on solar grids, and in between that and the end user, like you in your home using electricity. They store energy and can release it in times that the plants can't keep up, whether they're having production issues or there's just a massive unanticipated spike in power usage in the home. And I was really interested, so I kept pushing into it. And according to the International Hydropower Association in 2023, more than 94% of the world actually uses water through the form of water hydropower pumps to store this energy and act as this intermediary power storage device. Um, the way they do this is water is pushed up a hill and stored in a giant vat and is released kinetically through, and the kinetic energy is converted into electricity, and that's what's given to the users. And 94% was an insane figure to me, and as I kept reading, it became a controversial figure too. Because nowadays, most engineers are advocating for us renovating our power grid system from this hydro pump power storage into new lithium ion battery storage devices. And now I've learned about all aspects of the power grid throughout my years as an electrical engineer. It's one of the most important things in our classes because it's very applicable in the real world. And it's applicable to like everybody. I mean, we use electricity as a major part of all of our routines, and when electricity is interrupted through a faulty power grid, that interrupts our routines too. And so, the more I thought about it, I kept revisiting the question: what is the future of energy storage in the electrical power grid? Is it these hydropower storage devices or lithium ion energy? And I believe that it is lithium ion batteries. And we're going to learn about that in three ways. First, we're going to talk about the advantages of pumped hydropower. Second, we're going to talk about the advantages of lithium ion storage devices. And then finally, we're going to take a step back, wrangle all those ideas, and figure out which is really better for the future. Is hydro pump storage or lithium ion batteries? So let's plug our phones or our brains into the knowledge charger and learn a little bit about the past and the future of the energy grid. Let's start with the past, which is, of course, hydropower or hydro pump storage power, which we've been using for decades. And there's really two key advantages to it. It's capacity and its longevity. The capacity of hydro pump power is really good. I mean, according to the Environmental and Energy Study Institute in 2019, these hydro pump power storage devices have a 10-hour buffer time. That means that they store enough energy that when the power plant goes down, it can be down for 10 hours and the end user won't notice because of how much power is stored. The second really good thing about these hydropower storage systems is that they can last for, according to Donald Bond, who's a director at the Entra Energy Solutions company, a massive firm that builds these devices, they can last for over 50 years after they're built. So it's an investment well spent. Um, Additionally, there are no rare materials used in the construction of these, so that energy or supply chain issues are something that doesn't really impact them. And so these guys have been being used for decades. I mean, why is there so much pressure to switch into something else? And to answer that question, we really have to see just how good lithium-ion batteries are. Lithium-ion, like main claim to fame in this energy storage solution war within the power grid, is that they are extremely flexible. One really unique thing about them is that they don't require any special like landscape or environment for them to be used in. Hydropower, as you saw, requires a giant hill to store all this potential energy so that the water can be rolled down. Lithium ions can be installed in any such environment, and that's a massive advantage according to the Stanford paper on energy storage. Another really good thing about them and their flexibility is just how cheap they are.
They used to be really expensive, but through innovation and according to the World Economic Forum in 2024, the cost have decreased for lithium-ion batteries by 90% in the last decade. So every day they're becoming a more and more viable solution to this energy storage problem. And so now that we've seen all these really good advantages to the hydro pump power storage system and all these really good advantages to lithium-ion batteries, which one is really better? I mean, there's so many facts. And to me, it really comes down to two things. It's lithium-ion batteries, scalability, and their like dynamicness, and the harms and the difficult initial investment for these hydro pump power storage. Lithium ion batteries can be installed everywhere and they're so cheap, but in addition to that, what's really good about them is that they can be installed in stages over time. You can just put in a small amount of lithium ion batteries into a location, and then as the town or that location's population and energy demands grow, you can install more lithium ion batteries over time. With hydro pump storage, there's no such thing. It's a giant economic undertaking, a massive initial investment, and once the big storage tank is built, you can't really build it anymore. This scalability is really good too in the instances of one-time events. What if the World Cup wanted to be hosted in some area that has not so great power sustainability? Well, these lithium-ion batteries could be temporarily installed, meet the power demands for the World Cup, and then be removed later. Another big downside of these storage power grids is that they are massive to build, not just in energy build costs and economic build costs, but they have a massive environmental toll too, displacing ecosystems that they're being built in. And so, for these reasons, it seems that lithium ion batteries really are the best for the job in terms of this energy storage capacity device race. And so, let's take a step back and analyze. Now let's take a step back and analyze these three key points and figure out once and for all which is the best. So these three key devices, make sure. So hydropower storage solutions are really great because they can last for a long time, and once they're built, they're good to last, and they have a huge lead time. However, lithium ion storage devices are much more scalable. They can be built over time slowly, and they have a lot cheaper cost to build. And so, for these key reasons, it seems that we should be using lithium ion storage devices. Now, maybe just like flip phones were a thing of the past, so too can these hydropower water storage devices. And now, water and electricity won't meet again. Thank you.